Hi guys, welcome back to the Storytime Society. I'm so happy to have you here. I'm feeling so much better today. I could not really pinpoint why the last episode I was feeling so shitty. I mean, I felt like I was really tired and just exhausted. I did have a really hard workout that morning, so I feel like that's part of the reason why. I went to hot yoga this morning and I feel a lot better. It wasn't the super intense one. The last one that I went to was Sculpt and Flow, which is basically a HIIT workout. It's a little bit of yoga in the beginning for 5 minutes, and then it's a HIIT workout, literally in a hot ass room, and then the end is yoga for 5 minutes. So it's basically just a HIIT workout. Literally, if you've ever done Kayla, what's her name? Kayla It Signs or something. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I used to do that in college, and it's like a HIIT program or whatever. It's basically that, picture that, but longer, and you're in a hot ass room, so you're drenched in sweat. But it was definitely really good. I'm so sore from it, and it's been feeling really nice, guys, to work out in the morning. And I have held no, I'm really proud of myself because I've held no feelings of, oh, I need to go because I'm so that I'm can be skinny, or oh my god, I need to go because I ate this, and I don't deserve to not work out today. I've really just been going and I'm honestly surprised to even be saying this or feeling this way at all. I feel like I mean, not saying that this is going to stay this way, but I feel like as of now, I have really disconnected the feeling of shame and weight and body image with working out right now. And I kind of had a feeling that yoga was gonna do that for me, just because it's very grounding and relaxing, but also not relaxing. It's also still hard, but it's more of just, it makes me feel so much better throughout the day. It doesn't make me feel blah, if I just wake up, I have a lot less motivation if I just wake up and I'm working on the computer and stuff. And then when I work out in the morning, which it's really been nice because I book myself the 9 a.m. class the night before, so I can't cancel it. Otherwise, I have to pay a $20 fee, and I'm not paying a $20 fee just because I want to be a lazy bitch. Because I do wake up in the morning sometimes, and I'm like, oh my god, I would rather actually fall down the stairs, take a tumble down the stairs and break my neck than go to this class. But I'm not paying $20, so I'm not paying 20 extra dollars when I'm already paying $150 a month for this membership to this yoga place. So that's been really good, and I'm really proud of myself for starting to really disconnect the body image with the working out and the shame. Although I can't say the same with food. I think food is going to be a lot harder to get over, and I mean, it's been literally 15 years of my life that I've been struggling with food and shame around food and what's good and what's bad, and restricting myself, because even if I just eat half a cookie, I'm oh my god, I failed the whole day, when I obviously, in my logic mindset, I'm I know that's not the case. It's okay, it's balance, half a cookie or even one cookie, if you really want a cookie or something sweet, it's not going to kill you. But my mind has just been trained like that for so long that even though I know that and I'm aware of it, I still can't get over the shame of eating something that is quote unquote bad, obviously. There's just, oh my god, did you guys hear that? I really wish you guys could hear the rain while it's pouring right now, because it'd be so cute. I feel for a little story time with the rain noises in the back. I always find the rain so therapeutic. Sometimes I have a projector and sometimes I like to project it onto the wall. I haven't done this in a year. Who am I talking to? But I used to like to do this. And I would project onto the wall and I would put snowing little Christmas room on, and it would have the vibes of a little, I don't know, Christmas room with the fireplace crackling and stuff, or a rainforest jungle house. And then you turn off the lights and it looks like you're there because it's a huge window on the wall, and it's so cute. But that was my favorite thing to do, especially when I was alone, when me and my boyfriend were long distance. It was really fun. And I forgot what I I was gonna say. Oh, I just finished. I don't know if you guys like reality TV. I'm sure some of you do, but it's like my favorite thing ever. And I just finished The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And I've also been like listening to podcasts that they're on because usually when I'm like and I like watch a reality show, I get like invested in these people. So I'm like invested in these girls right now. And so I was watching a podcast with all of them and just talking about stuff. And it's so funny because they like talked about, sorry, this is a long intro, but it's okay because I'm going to put a timestamp if you want to skip it. It's so funny because they were talking about BYU and like how their like rules are crazy or whatever. And I was like, they listed one thing that was like one of the craziest things that they said. Like they were acting like it was super crazy. That was like, if you had boys in your dorm, you have to have the door open and like your feet on the ground. But the crazy thing is that I couldn't relate to that more because I've told you guys previously that I went to a Christian college, a private Christian college, and we had rules like that, but worse. Like we weren't allowed to have boys in our dorm. We only had 1 hour a week where we could have a visitation. Each dorm was different. So we had 1 hour a week in each dorm where you could have a boy there, but you had to keep the door open, and they would say like, keep enough space for Jesus. So you couldn't be like close because RAs would come in and check on you guys and like see what you guys are doing. And you couldn't, oop, my cats are getting fed. And you couldn't be laying down. You had to stay horizontal. I forget what they said about that, but there was some saying about that, like being horizontal. And yeah, so, and you couldn't be under the covers, like you couldn't use a blanket, like so crazy. But yeah, honestly, those days were crazy when I think about it. But I was just like, it was just funny to me because obviously I feel like BYU, for me, like I feel like it's such an extreme school because whenever I see those people, on TikTok, they're like, someone will come up to them like, would you rather drink coffee or kill your grandma tomorrow? And they're like, kill my grandma. Like it's such an easy decision for them. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. I don't think they really act. But they do say like, kill a puppy, I think. And they're like, no, I'd rather kill a puppy than drink coffee. And so I just feel like it's so extreme there. And so the fact that I went to a school that I could relate to that was really crazy to me because I'm just like, I can't believe that I went to a school that was that strict because Lord knows I never had a strict upbringing ever. Not like one time in my life were my parents ever strict and I had like the most freedom in the world. I mean, I think I turned out pretty well, so it worked out for them, but I wouldn't recommend it because I definitely like when I look back, I'm like, obviously at the time I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I have so much freedom. Like, this is great. I can do whatever I want. I can have whoever I want whenever I want. And obviously, like at the time it was amazing. But now looking back, I'm like, no, I do wish I had some structure in my life and like some discipline in my life because it definitely would help in the long run. And I don't know. I feel like there's a way you can be both. Like you can let your kid live, but you can also be disciplined and teach them like things growing up, you know? Okay. But anyways, let's get to the episode. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already, I'm sure there's a lot of people fast forwarding through this part, but if you haven't, like, comment, and subscribe. Maybe share this video with a friend if you think that it's something that they would be interested in. It would really mean a lot to me. It means a lot to me whenever you guys like my videos, whenever you guys comment, it means like the most to me. And obviously, I don't know when you share my videos, but if you do, just know that it means a lot to me because obviously I want this channel to grow as much as possible. And also the Spotify episode, or my Spotify account will be linked in every single bio from like a couple episodes on. And our subreddit is also below. I think we have 215 Storytime Society subreddit members now. So slay. Okay, so we have 4 stories today. I did pick out these stories ahead of time. There's not a theme, but these were just the stories that I thought were going to be the most interesting in my opinion based on the title. So let's get right into it, okay? Okay, folk or folks, I don't know. Okay, whatever. Oh, I also have my coffee. Sorry, but I have a hot latte today with some sugar-free Belgian cookie syrup and caramel. All right, so the title, oh girl, the title of the story is, Am I the Asshole for Getting Hurt and Upset Over a Harmless Prank That My Husband Pulled? Trigger warnings, physical and mental abuse, and premature birth. So, me and my husband have been married for 5 years. We are currently female 24 and male 33. Way before we met, when I was 16, my mom's house had a fire that burnt literally everything down, and sadly, my childhood cat was also killed in it. I remember my mom and brother waking up screaming, Fire, fire, get up, get up. We crawled out under the smoke, and luckily, neighbors had already called the fire department and they pulled us out. We lost literally everything and we were devastated. So that was a while ago, but it still really scares me. And I check the outlets in our stove and candles and everything all the time. My husband knows this about me. So 2 nights ago, I went to bed early because I'm currently 34 weeks pregnant, literally about to pop. I was sleeping for a while before, for some reason, my husband decided to wake me up by yelling, Baby, there's a fire! Fire! Get up! As quick as I could, I get up at 34 weeks. I did and grabbed my purse. I was just in automatic shock and just autopilot and knew what I needed to grab. I made it all the way downstairs, yelling for my husband to follow me before he started laughing and telling me it was a joke. It took a minute for that to process. I stood there with an open mouth while he laughed and ushered me down the rest of the stairs. I sat down on the couch and just started sobbing. It was genuinely the hardest I've ever sobbed. It's like I couldn't get myself to stop and my whole body was shaking. My heart was racing and I couldn't breathe. I have never had this experience before. I was genuinely so panicked. I was so effing upset. My husband apologized and was like, Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was just a joke. I just cried until he eventually was like, What the F? It was just a prank. This is really dramatic. After a few hours, I had calmed myself down and went to apologize to him. He wouldn't take it. He said I was being over dramatic and made him feel like shit for a harmless prank. So I guess, am I the asshole? I've never been good at taking jokes. I've been trying to be less sensitive, but I don't know. I don't know if I've read that story on here before, but I know I've read that story. So I've either read it on here before and I'm so sorry, or I've read it just on my TikTok while I was getting ready. But there is an update September 1st. So I feel like even if I did read the story before, it's fine because now there's an update and you probably would need your memory refreshed anyways. So whatevs. Someone commented, Why did you apologize? And she said, I apologized because he made a big deal about me making him feel horrible. All right. So the update is from September 1st, a bit over a month later. A month ago, I posted my first post, which is still up on my account. I was terrified and hurt and confused, and the comments really helped me sort through everything going on. A week later, I went into preterm labor and gave birth to my baby at 35 weeks. A week after that, my husband beat me unconscious when he caught me Googling the signs of an abusive marriage, after he coerced me into sex a week postpartum. Today, I filed for divorce and secured a restraining order on him. My husband will never lay a hand on me or my baby ever again. I cannot confidently say that I would have made that decision without the help of my original post. So thank you so very much. I think maybe people do not realize how much you can help a stranger on the internet, but you can, and all of you did. I will be the woman who leaves after the first time. I will be the best mother I can be, and that starts with leaving him. Thank you. Okay, that took a twist I was not expecting at all. I was like reading that I felt like an upbeat energy, and then all of a sudden that came and I was very upset. I mean, thank the Lord that she left after the first time, because obviously like in a lot of relationships, abusive relationships, it's really hard to leave, and a lot of people don't after the first time because usually it's like they're apologizing and stuff. But is that the first time that he's ever beat her? Because that is so crazy, especially after like just having a baby. And then, oh my God, honestly, like I'm really glad it ended in like a happy way, but I really hope that this man honestly goes to jail. But let's read some of the comments. Yeah, sadly, I'm not surprised at the update. He used her trauma against her while she was pregnant and then bullied her into apologizing for getting upset. The fact that she even felt like she had to apologize meant the abuse was already long term. Dark irony in the fact that he found her Googling signs of an abusive marriage and immediately put her in the hospital. Truly a man with no self-awareness. I don't think he lacks self-awareness. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's just one of those people who believe that if they feel a negative emotion, their partner should pay the price. His moral compass is terrible, but the man has a grasp on objective reality. And then someone commented in quotes, "You think I'm abusing you? Okay, I'll beat you unconscious. That'll show everyone that I'm not abusive." I don't have much to say other than that I'm really glad that she realized, and I'm really glad that she posted on Reddit in the first place because, I mean, a lot of these stories in like some of the comments can definitely sometimes be a little like harsh. But in this case, obviously, it's it's great that people were really telling her the truth about the story and how they felt and how they perceived it, because obviously in relationships, like, sometimes you just don't really notice. That kind of honestly goes back to, like, I don't know if you guys have watched The Mormon Wives, but if you guys do, Jen and her husband, and that's all I'm going to say just in case. I don't want to spoil it, but I feel like, oh, she's so young, and at some point I really feel like she's going to realize that this man's is an abuser. Next story. My parents were family vloggers and it ruined my life. I, 23 female, was raised by parents who family vlogged. They began vlogging in 2013, almost by accident, as a video of my brother went viral. It was something I disliked from the beginning, as I was a shy child and that didn't fit in with what my parents wanted from me and my siblings. I wanted to share my story to raise awareness, but please don't try and guess who me and my family are, as it will start a fight with my parents I'm not in a position to deal with yet. At the peak of their fame, my parents had around 2 million subscribers. The main demographic was mainly adult men, and now as an adult I realized that their content was catered towards these men. I was one of 5 girls, all a year apart in age, and those 5 years were an absolute goldmine for my parents. Period videos, getting first bras, having first kisses, all a massive hit with middle-aged creepy men. We eventually ended up being homeschooled so that we didn't have any external distractions and we weren't allowed to make friends unless they were also part of family vlogging channels. Our parents only posted good things. On camera, it looked like our family was perfect, when in reality, my dad was abusing my mom. They were arguing constantly, and my dad ended up having an affair. The channel ended when my mom found out and they divorced, which nobody online knows. They blew through the money on drinking, drugs, and vacations they went on without us. I barely have a relationship with my parents because I can't forgive them for taking my privacy away from me. Please feel free to ask any questions you have. Well, first of all, this sounds a lot like what was her name? Like Ruby or something, Ruby Frank or something. I don't know. You guys might know who I'm talking about, but I think like the 8 Passengers was their family vlogging name, but that really reminds me of this because obviously, like, as that was going on, she was showing like her parenting skills and like how she parents and stuff, giving advice and showing like this is how we deal with this and this with like her kids. But then in the end, it did not turn out well. And then we find out that she was abusing them, and she's basically like a member of this, like, not cult, but like maybe cult, I don't know. But that this girl was like teaching her all these things about how you need to like punish your kids physically, and like if they do this then you need to like tape them up and lock them away and like not give them food and all this stuff. And like that's, I don't understand though. Like I do, so it's hard for me because obviously in some instances, like with the little girl Ren on TikTok, I feel like her mom definitely knows what she's doing there. Like she will do inappropriate videos that like don't look inappropriate to a normal person watching with like my eyes. I would look at it and be like, "Oh, so cute." But like it's clearly so catered to a man that is a pedo, basically, that wants to look at children like, I don't even want to say that, put it in words, but it's weird. And then on the other hand, I'm like, at the same time, sometimes I'm like, well, they're just like making videos, fun videos with their family, and as long as that's not like the main thing that their channel surrounds around, then it's fine. And I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, but I don't think that that should be like the main thing. Like, I think if you built a platform on like you and then sometimes you are showing your kids, like, I think that's totally fine, in my opinion. I do. And then also, like, I feel like there's some people on TikTok, for example, like Mata Gravia, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but she has a little kid named Rez, and she doesn't show his face anymore. She just like shows the back of his head, and or like just nothing, and sometimes like makes videos with him, which I also think is like a good way to go about it. But she also mostly like surrounds her content around herself. But obviously these people were like doing weird shit, like periods and bras and stuff, like so private with your kids. What, did you give them the sex talk on video too? Like, crazy. But I feel like, in my opinion, girl, no contact. They they don't deserve contact, and I feel like if you really can't forgive them, which I wouldn't be able to either, I would just cut them off and move on with your life and try to heal on your own, because I don't like them. Okay, some of the top comments are saying, and what about your siblings? Do they have a relationship with your parents? Did they apologize or acknowledge what they did was wrong? OP said, my siblings also no longer have a relationship with my parents. My youngest sister struggles with it the most. My mom has seemed regretful when it's convenient for her. Last time I spoke to my dad, his only regret was that it ended. And then someone said back, I have seen a couple of times a show from the USA about quintuplets, all girls. It looked to me awful. There was one of the shyest who struggled a lot with cameras, and they took her to therapy to accept and to deal with it. I wanted to punch the parents. I'm sorry you have to deal with this childhood. I'm a very private and shy person as well, and to me the privacy of my home is everything. Someone said John and Kate Plus 8 was a big family reality show before vlogs were really a thing back in 2007, and the kids now all almost have alleged abuse from Kate. I feel like it never ends well. This makes me think of the Goslin or Jocelyn, I don't know. Kids, 6 of them don't have a relationship with their dad or 2 of their siblings. All of them seem to be marked in some way by their time on TV. Their parents, very public divorce, etc. Would things have been different if they hadn't been on TV? Who knows? But it's pretty clear that it didn't do them any good. Just out of curiosity, were they Mormon? Yes, my parents met at BYU. Way too many Mormon adults who think they're in the right with their horrible parenting, looking at the Ruby Frank case. Was Ruby Frank Mormon? I didn't know that. Yes, very Mormon, and then they went overboard. Have you read I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy? It sounds as if it would resonate with you, and I couldn't imagine the difficulty of having your young life documented and shown to lecherous, I don't know, men. I hope you can find some peace. And then Opie said, I've read it about 10 times. I loved it. Well, I really hope that she heals, and I would say really the only thing I have to say about this is that I, in my opinion, feel like she should go no contact with her parents, because especially if they're not even like taking accountability and they're not even apologizing and they're not like doing the work to change and prove that they are sorry about the situation and how it affected their kids, and especially the dad, like, bye, kick that guy to the curb. Okay, this one is so crazy. It's about family relations, so yeah, kind of weird. All right. I'm kind of scared to read this, to be honest. But the title is I suspect my mom and my brother are having sex in secret for months now. I don't know if I'm insane, paranoid, or if something is really up. What I'm about to tell you is not fiction. It is extremely embarrassing to even type all of this here, which is why I'm writing it on a throwaway account. For those who think I'm making up the story I'm about to tell you, I get it. I am aware it does sound insane. I don't care if you don't believe me, but please tell me what you would do if you were in my situation. Please read everything before you reply to this thread. What happened? I'm 17 and I live in Western Europe. I live with my mom, my older brother, and my stepfather. My brother is 19 and is studying at university. He hasn't left the house since it's close to the university. My mother is a housewife and my stepfather works in a company in the next town. Over the last 6 to 8 months, maybe a bit more, I'm not sure, I've noticed that my mother and brother have been acting unusual. Well, not exactly weird, but rather out of character. For example, I noticed that my brother would help out our mom with the cooking, but only when our dad was at work, something he had never done before, regardless of whether my stepdad was around or not. One time, I barged into the kitchen and it looked like they were in the middle of something. There was an awkward silence, too. This may sound strange, but I didn't suspect a thing at the time. The idea of my older brother and my mother having an inappropriate relationship didn't cross my mind back then. Another example, when our father was at work, my mother and brother would sometimes drive somewhere and return 1 or 2 hours later. I remember once asking my mom where they had gone, and she told me that they had gone shopping. When I asked what they had bought, she said they hadn't bought anything because the shop was closed, which was completely untrue. Another time, I asked why they hadn't taken me along on their trip, and my mom said she didn't think that I'd enjoy going with them to see the nearby lake, which was totally true, to be fair. There were other similar incidents like that. Again, all of this started happening recently, about 6 months to a year ago. None of these clues made me suspicious back then. However, what did alert me was something that happened a few months ago. It was a typical Wednesday. My dad was at work. I had finished school early, as I do every Wednesday, and I noticed that my brother was home early too, since his shoes were placed in the hallway, and his backpack was in the living room. I was looking for my mother, but couldn't find her anywhere until I got near the bathroom. I could hear the water running along with other strange noises. I still wasn't 100% sure what the noises were, but it sounded like someone was tapping on the shower glass window while breathing really heavily. It sounded more like someone was having trouble repairing something than anything else. At that point, I wasn't freaking out yet. What troubled me was that they both came out of the bathroom at separate times, and my mom lied to me about it. She wasn't aware that I saw my brother leave the bathroom after her. She told me she had been in the garden, but I knew that was just a lie. That's exactly when I started to freak out in my mind. The other major event that confirmed my fears happened about 3 months ago. I was supposed to stay at a friend's house for the weekend because we had a school trip and we were planning to leave together. However, I got sick the day before and couldn't go, so I ended up going back home instead. I returned early that morning. Apparently, my brother didn't have any classes until the afternoon, and my father had already left for work. Again, I knew my brother was home, but I couldn't find him. Everything started to make sense when I approached my parents' bedroom and heard strange noises again. I was 100% certain that she was having an affair with someone. I could hear faint moaning and clapping sounds. When I tried to open the locked door, all the noise stopped immediately, and my mom came out sometime later. She seemed a little upset that I hadn't called to tell her about the change of plans. When I peeked inside the room, I didn't see anyone. However, about 10 minutes later, I'm almost certain I saw my brother come out of the same room. He didn't come out until they thought I was gone. In reality, I was hiding in the guest room at the end of the hallway and could see the hallway through the keyhole in the door. I couldn't clearly see his face since he sprinted out as soon as the door opened. I came out shortly after and went to the living room, and miraculously, he was there this time. What a coincidence, right? Current situation is, as of today, I still cannot confirm whether they have a sexual relationship or not, since I have not caught them in the act. At best, I am just insane and paranoid. At worst, she is cheating on my stepdad with her own son. I don't know what to do, guys. I don't want to ask any of them about it either. It is extremely embarrassing, and I feel like it would ruin the family if I even bring that up to any of them. My mom is 36 or 37, and I don't know how badly me learning the truth can impact her. I internally feel disgusted looking at them sometimes, but thinking there was even a 1% chance I am wrong makes it easier for me to move on with my life. I don't know if I should just look the other way or not. What would you guys recommend me to do? Oh, well, ew. I'm gonna say I don't even want to think about what I would do in that position because it's just fucking disgusting to think about. And would I wanna even I mean, I think if I thought that, I would hate my mom and I would hate my brother. So obviously I feel like I don't know how long has this been going on. I'm so confused. But I feel like I would have to although I wouldn't want to know, I would not want this to be confirmed. I know that it would affect my relationships with them so much so to the point where I wouldn't want any type of relationship with them, either of them. And so I feel like I would have to find out for good and really have to have proof. I'm not really sure how I would get that proof, but because I know that it would be so detrimental to our relationships, I would need to know that it was for sure, because otherwise I'm just not going to have a relationship with them, and then I'm going to find out that not me tucking my titty. And then I'm going to find out that, like, that wasn't true in the end. That would suck, obviously, because then it's like, yeah, I'd still be pissed if my mom was having an affair with someone, but, like, I would still want to have a relationship with her. And yeah, so I mean, I don't really know. I don't really have advice, really. All I know is that what I would do, but I don't really want to, like, give advice on this situation because it's like, all I know is it's going to be really traumatic if she finds out that it's true. Okay, some of the top comments. If you have a chance to study abroad, indefinitely take it until further notice. If that's what they're actually doing, it might not be safe for you to confront them alone. They might react in an unpredictable way that you'd never expect. You should involve someone you can trust. Maybe that's the parent of a friend or your stepdad. You don't even have to explain the whole situation. Just say you suspect your mom is cheating and it's bothering you based on the situations you witnessed with the bathroom and bedroom. You can leave out the details about your brother if you don't feel comfortable sharing that. Please don't try to do this alone. This is far above what you should be handling. Something needs to be done, but it's not for you to find out the truth on your own. Please reach out to someone you can trust, even if it's just a friend to start. You need some support, and they don't need all the details to start. I guess that's a good point. Ew. This happens a lot more than you think. I've actually recently went through something like this as well with my best friend, and it turned out he was having an inappropriate relationship with his mother for years. I wrote about it here on Reddit and even gave updates. My best friend is currently living with me now and going to therapy. He's doing a lot better, honestly. And someone said, like, the scary part is that the brother is 19, so did the mom groom him, which I feel like is an obvious yes. Because, like, what, she just randomly decided that she wanted to do that? No, she's fucked up in her brain, and I'm sure that she did something. Yuck. I'm just like, that's just so gross that, like, it's something that I could never even imagine being in that situation. Like, I don't even know someone that's, like, I don't even know of someone, know anyone mutually who has gone through something like that. Like, actually, I do know someone, but I'm not going to say the story because that's just wrong. And it's very private information. Like, even though you guys obviously wouldn't know who it was about, I just feel wrong doing that because it's very vulnerable information. And yeah, I would not, I don't know. I just wouldn't feel comfortable sharing that. Especially about someone like I know. Like, she's not like my best friend, but she's my friend, so it would not be nice of me. Can you see her? Hi, Missy girl. Princess. She's so sweet. Why are you so sweet, girl? Are getting so big. Isn't she getting so big? I don't know if you can see her, but I filmed a video, one of, like, my first maybe 10 videos or something, or maybe, I don't know. And she was so tiny in it. She was literally, I think it was like a couple days after we had gotten her. And she's so big now. But she's like the sweetest girl ever. Seriously. I love all of my cats, okay? I always say this. I love all my cats equally. But obviously they're all so different. Like, they all have such different personalities. Frankie, like, he loves pets and stuff, but, like, he really just wants to sleep and eat food. He's not, like, cuddly. He never really cuddles with us. So, like, when he is, like, laying next to us and stuff, and he's very nice. He's, like, the nicest boy. He's so nice to everyone. He's such a lover. Like, he's very nice. He's just not cuddly. So when he is, like, laying next to us, we are like, oh my God, yay. Or if he, like, lays on our lap, we love that. Like, he lays mostly on my boyfriend's lap, but still, even then, he doesn't really do that a lot. Right now, he's sleeping up on the tree, but oh my God. And then Poppy is I've told you, she's very sassy to other people. She's not sassy to us. She loves us. She's very, very sweet to us. She goes through phases throughout the day, though. Like, she'll have her loving times where she really wants to be pet. She wants to cuddle. She's, like, rolling around. And then she'll have her times where she doesn't want to be touched. Like, she'll break her back in order, if you try to touch her, she'll, like, bend it so crazily so that you don't touch her. She just doesn't want to be touched. She wants to be, like, she's very independent. She doesn't like to eat next to them. Like, I feed her up on the fridge because that's the only place she'll eat. she's been like not eating her wet food for so long because I'll feed her next to them and she'll just walk away because she like doesn't want to like she doesn't, I don't know, she's so weird, but I feed her up on the fridge and she eats now. I'm like, okay, the only time you'll ever eat is if I feed you on the fridge. But yeah, she's very sassy but I love her so much. She's our firstborn, so Frank's the middle child. And then the youngest, which maybe I love her so much because I'm also the youngest in my family of 3, so it's like maybe that's why I relate to her so much. But no, she's literally the sweetest girl. Ow, my leg is breaking. She's like so nice. She will, if you put your head like next to her, she does this like on your face, like she rubs up on your face, and she always cuddles. She's such a cuddler. She loves to be pet. She's constantly purring. She doesn't have a mean bone in her body. She is the sweetest little bean, and she's very chill. Like, we take her on car rides, she just lays there. She's laying on your lap, like, so chill. She doesn't love it outside. Like, she'll meow outside once. Like, she'll just meow loud once. She'll be like, meow. But, like, she's just so good. But I love them all dearly. So, I never want people to think that I love one more than the other because I don't. I love them all equally. Okay, anyways, this is the last story, so let's read, okay? Slay. My husband missed the birth of our first child, so I left him. My husband and I, both 26, moved states away for his work last year. It was fine at first because I wanted to support him, but immediately the thought grew inside of me that I had no one there except for him. His baby mama, 38, and his kid, 9, let's call her E, moved along with us. For context, he was 17 when E was born, and baby mama was his teacher. I knew him in high school and helped him with E when he had to take care of her on his own. That's what made us fall in love, and eventually we got married. Up until 4 months ago, our relationship was perfect. We were 8 months pregnant with our baby boy, and we were beyond happy. And then one night, we were chilling on the couch when he got a phone call from his baby mama. She was shouting into the phone, so he stepped into a different room as to not disturb me. When he ended the call, I was met with a completely different side of him. You see, sometimes when my husband has to work and it's his turn to look after E, he leaves her with me. E and I bake together, do homework, watch movies, and have conversations about school. It never went beyond that, but somehow E told him that I'd been hitting her when he wasn't there, and he believed her. I understand why he instantly took her side because she's his baby, and honestly, I would too, but I kept telling him that I never laid a hand on E for the life of me, but he wasn't believing me, and instead he grabbed his car keys and vanished out of the door right after telling me that he wanted nothing to do with me or my baby. I was devastated. I called him countless of times, and I didn't stop until he blocked me. I was left alone in a house and a state that I had no business being a part of, and I was so scared. Less than a month later, he never came back. I went into labor. I didn't want him to miss the birth of our first child, so I went as far as calling him from a stranger's phone, but as soon as he realized it was me, he hung up. Nonetheless, I gave birth to my beautiful boy, and when I came home from the hospital, my husband was there, and he looked completely worse for wear. Apparently, he was informed by the hospital staff that the room we booked was paid for by my father, and he connected the dots. And when he refused to go check up on me, his daughter told him that she wanted to go see her new brother and eventually confessed that she was lying just to get her mommy and daddy back together. Not that they ever were together. He apologized profusely and pleaded to see our son, but I couldn't handle it. I told him to leave the house and that I didn't want to see his face again. Now I moved back home and I served my husband with the divorce papers. He never signed them. He desperately wants me to take him back, but I don't know if I want to. He broke my trust that day and established where his priorities lie between my son and E. Now that I know where he stands, I don't ever want my son to be mistreated by his own father. I'm going to delete this post soon because I wouldn't want my husband or his baby mama to ever see this. Well, I understand like feeling like you can't forgive him, and obviously this is such a complex situation, but I understand at the same time like wanting to believe your daughter over your wife. Like, I don't know. Obviously, like little kids can make things up. So, what? She's 9. So like, I don't know, that's so hard because like 9 is like very much old enough to be conscious of like what you're saying. And oh, that's hard, but I do understand. Like if that happened to me, I feel like I would definitely want to believe my kid, especially if that's what she was claiming, and I wouldn't want to be with my partner anymore if that's what she was doing to my kid. Like, I understand that completely. And it's like, how would you even know if that's true or not? Obviously, you're going to believe your kid the first time they tell you that. Because what are you going to say? Are you sure? Like, question that, especially if that really did happen. And then that's so traumatic for like your parent to not even be like supportive if you're telling them that, especially when someone like abused you. But obviously it's really hurtful because you know, like she knows that it wasn't true. They both knew that it wasn't true, but obviously the dad, the husband, had like he owed it to his daughter to believe her and when she was telling him something so serious. So I don't think I would personally divorce him. I do think that I would end up forgiving him, but I do think that it would take a lot of time because obviously that's a lot of hurtful stuff, especially him with the saying like I don't want anything to do with your baby, not being there for the birth, like that's very hurtful. But if he was like a good partner otherwise and you guys had a good relationship otherwise, I personally would forgive him. But and obviously it wouldn't just be as simple as I forgive you, but it would take a lot of work, like a lot of work to work through all of that. Okay. Some people are saying, not to mention that I would never want to be alone with his daughter again. What other lies would she make up about OP? That kind of lie can have massive consequences. I was in a somewhat similar situation with an ex's kid, except the little girl never claimed I abused her. She just said I was mean to her, and the mom side of the family ran with it and started making things up and insinuating that they didn't feel comfortable with me being around alone with the child. Fine, I work a job where it could cost me my career to be accused of such a thing. So the only time I was alone with the child was when my boyfriend was around. I wasn't helping with drop-offs or pickups or even allowing me and the child to be alone together in the same room of the house. Every interaction I had with the child from that point on was while my boyfriend was in the same room. If he was playing video games in the living room and she wanted to come in the bedroom where I was watching TV, nope, absolutely not. My boyfriend, his mom, and stepdad thought it was overkill, but it wasn't their career and livelihood on the line. Ultimately, the mother ended up shooting herself in the foot with the crap she tried to pull. Why did I think that was going somewhere else? And also, she called me mean because as she was getting dropped off one weekend, I was heading to work. She wanted me to stay home, and I told her I couldn't. I never tried to discipline his child, and even if she did do something wrong in my presence, I would tell him and wouldn't say anything to her unless it was something that could harm her. I want to see what other people are saying because I feel like people are not going to agree with me. He's far too emotional and does not act rationally. He went full nuclear and expects you to take him back. This is called consequences to actions. He needs to sit in the filth, his bed, so to speak, marinate in it, reflect in it, learn from it, then approach you. Love bombing you, saying he's sorry, expecting you to take him back does nothing. He broke your trust, betrayed you when you needed him the most. What you're feeling is real and valid. You need to go through your own process on your own. If that includes taking him back, sure, but right now you have to deal with you. Take care of yourself and let him sit with his repercussions. He needs to get his kid into therapy and therapy for himself. He has a child with his pedophile abuser. That's very true. I actually forgot to touch on that fact because that was crazy. That was like insane. That was the fact that the title isn't like my husband had a kid with his teacher, because I feel like that is like the most crazy part about the whole story. Someone said, don't take him back. He should believe his child, but he should also have heard you out and be there for you, especially when you weren't carrying his child. Children lie too, and she lied to break you up and succeeded. Doesn't mean you have to go back and play happy family. Even though you won't go back, you all need therapy, you, so you can, including him and you, so you can co-parent well together. The kid, obviously. What? The way that was written. I'm so happy your baby boy has such a strong mother. The worst is behind you. Don't look back. Your instincts are right. Okay, well, I guess everyone is saying fuck him, but sorry, I don't understand the sentence about him connecting the dots about the hospital room being paid for by your father. I didn't understand that either. I really didn't understand that at all. But that wasn't really important to me. I'll put money on the fact that he was shacked up with baby mama that whole time. Probably. But that's honestly sad because that's like literally his abuser. Like what how old was he? I mean, regardless it was his teacher, but I forget how old he was. He was 17 when E was born. His baby mama is 38. Wait, what? Wait, what? They're both 26. The baby mama is 38. Okay. So 9 years older. Wait, I'm so confused right now. They're 26. The baby mama's 38. So the baby mama is 12 years older than them. So that means he was 17 and she was 29. Okay, that makes sense. I was like thinking for a second that he was like too young to be a teacher, but damn. That's crazy, but that's my that's my take on it, okay? But I also understand if you wouldn't want to forgive him and you would want to never see him again. So, but I'm just kind of saying what I would think I would do. I don't know though because I've obviously never been in a situation like that. And obviously like also you're postpartum, so you're even more like sensitive and your hormones are everywhere. And to leave someone like during the last like run of the pregnancy, yes, that's crazy, but I don't know, it's just hard because the situation is just complex to me about the daughter saying that they hit her because that's a very serious accusation. I do think though that he shouldn't have just left and never talked to her again. Like I do think that he should have had like heard her out and talked to her, but I mean, and what, is he, would he even believe, like, I don't know if I would believe them even if they were trying to convince me that it wasn't true, you know? So it's so hard sometimes to like say for sure what I would do. And that's why I just think that it's really however you feel is what you should do because obviously we're all different people and we would handle situations differently. And I think her feelings are totally valid. So if she does want to never see him again, and serve him divorce papers, so be it. She should do that. So, slay. But I do think everyone needs therapy here, especially the dad, because that's just craziness. The teacher situation is crazy to me. Um, but yeah, I think that's the end of the episode. I'm like starving right now. I feel like I need to go to the grocery store because we have no food here, but I'm like, I don't know what to eat. Ooh, we haven't made tacos in a while. Maybe we'll make tacos tonight. I feel like that'd be a good, yummy dinner. I love Mexican food so much. It's literally my heart and soul and my joy. Like, if I ever don't know what I want, I'm like, I don't know how I'm feeling, Mexican food. And even when I do know what I want, it's mostly usually Mexican food. That's like definitely my top favorite food ever. We have this place that I used to live like right by, but now we live like 15 minutes from it, and it's called Torero's, and it's always so busy, and I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. It reminds me a lot. We used to go to this place called Azteca in the town where I grew up, and there was like five. There was like Azteca 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like everywhere. And my grandpa was really close to the owner, so we would always go there for like every celebration, birthday, everything. And it reminds me a lot of that because it's like basically the same thing, but it's not obviously because this is in Florida and that was in Iowa. But oh, baby, it's so good. And especially when it gives me like nostalgia and it's like, oh, yep, I used to eat this all the time when I was little. I used to always get enchiladas for a while and then I switched to chicken and rice. Fire. Fire. So good. But I think that's a good idea. Tacos. Yum. I'm definitely going to do that. I think I'm going to go to Whole Foods though because Publix is like more expensive than Whole Foods, I think. Publix is insanely expensive. Usually we go to Aldi, but now we don't live by an Aldi. We live like 20 minutes away from an Aldi and it's honestly ruining my life because we're definitely spending double the amount on groceries for sure. But I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know what you think. Join the subreddit. Share stories on there, guys. Please. It's so fun when you guys share stories on there. And I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. You're the best. And have the best day ever.